Have you ever noticed how silence can sometimes feel louder than noise? In a quiet house where the ticking of the clock becomes the only rhythm, where every corner holds memories but no voices, life can feel painfully heavy. That is where our story begins, with Sophia, a gentle grandmother with silver hair and weary eyes, who woke up on what should have been a special day. The calendar on her wall had a faded red circle marking the date. It was her 78th birthday. She whispered to herself, "Happy birthday, old girl," and forced a smile, though her heart already knew how the day would pass. Still, before I take you deeper into her world, let me remind you, if you believe that small acts of kindness can change lives, then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because what you are about to hear will touch your soul. The morning passed in its usual stillness. Sophia shuffled into her small kitchen, boiled water for tea, and stared at the phone lying on the table. She hoped for a call, a message, even a small reminder that someone remembered. Hours passed. The phone buzzed once, her heart leaped, but it was only a promotional message from the pharmacy. She sighed and carried her cup to the window, staring outside where children ran and neighbors greeted one another. Once upon a time, birthdays meant balloons, cakes, and her children singing songs around the table. But now the halls were empty, her husband long gone, her children far away, wrapped in their own busy lives. By afternoon, she had cooked a small meal for herself, placed a candle on the table, and whispered her wish. It wasn't for gifts, not even for her own happiness. She wished her children would stay safe and healthy, even if they forgot her. She closed her eyes, blew out the candle, and the silence that followed felt heavier than any loneliness she had known. Then came the knock. At first, Sophia thought she imagined it. Who would knock on her door at this hour? The knock came again, soft but steady. She grabbed her cane and opened the door. There stood her young neighbor, Clara, holding a small box wrapped in paper, and a handful of fresh daisies. "Happy birthday, Sophia," she said with a smile so warm it melted the old woman's guarded heart. Sophia blinked, stunned. How did you know?" she whispered. Clara explained that she had seen the date marked on Sophia's calendar when helping with groceries weeks ago, and she couldn't let the day go unnoticed. With gentle care, Clara placed the flowers on the table and opened the box to reveal a small cake with uneven frosting and a single candle. "It's not much," she said softly, "but it's made with love." Tears filled Sophia's eyes as she clasped Clara's hand. That evening, they lit the candle, sang softly, and shared the cake. For the first time in years, laughter filled the old woman's home again. Sophia poured her heart out to Clara that night. She spoke of her youth, of how she learned to ride a bike, of the song she once sang in the kitchen, of her husband's gentle surprises, and of her regrets, the time she wished she had hugged her children longer, the letters she wished she had written. Clara listened, not with pity but with genuine care, holding her hand as if to remind her that she was not invisible. "Don't regret the past, Sophia," Clara whispered. "You gave your family love, and that love stays with them. But know this, you are not forgotten. Not as long as I'm here." Those words were like a lantern in the dark, reminding Sophia that family isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's found in the people who choose to care. From that day, their bond grew. Clara began visiting every evening after work, bringing groceries or stories from her day. They shared tea at the kitchen table, laughter echoing through the small house. Clara confided in Sophia too, about her loneliness in the city, about missing her parents, about her fears of not doing enough in life. Sophia became more than just a neighbor. She became a mentor, a mother figure, a safe place. The house that had once been silent now hummed with warmth. Even the neighbors noticed. Children waved at Sophia. Adults greeted her more often, and her face glowed with the joy she thought she had lost. One evening, Clara asked gently, "Do your children ever visit, Sophia?" The old woman lowered her gaze. "Not anymore," she murmured. "They are busy. They have their own families. I try not to blame them." But the silence, her voice trailed off. Clara squeezed her hand. "Then promise me this. You will never spend another birthday, another holiday, or even an ordinary evening alone. As long as I'm here, you'll have me." Tears filled Sophia's eyes. That promise became their bond, stronger than words. Clara's kindness soon spread. She suggested inviting neighbors over one Sunday. Sophia hesitated, worried she would be a burden, but Clara's excitement persuaded her. When the day came, Sophia's home was alive again. Neighbors sat in her living room, sipping tea and listening to her stories. Children ran in her small garden, laughter filling the air. For the first time in decades, Sophia felt like the hostess she once used to be. She leaned toward Clara and whispered, "Thank you. You've given me my home back." Clara replied with a smile, "No, Sophia. You've given us your heart." And then something remarkable happened. A photo from the gathering made its way onto a neighbor's social media. Sophia's daughter saw it and, with guilt heavy in her voice, called her. "Mom? I didn't know. I'm so sorry." Sophia's hands trembled as she clutched the phone, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Oh, my child, I missed you so much," she whispered. It was a short call, but it opened a door that had long been shut. Soon, her children began reaching out again. Calls became more frequent, small visits followed, and her grandchildren sent her drawings and letters. It wasn't perfect, but it was healing. Clara, always by her side, smiled and said, "See? Love always finds its way back." Months passed, and Sophia's next birthday arrived. But this time, she wasn't afraid of being forgotten. She woke to the sound of voices in her kitchen. Clara was baking a cake with two neighborhood children, laughter spilling into the hallway. Balloons decorated the room, flowers filled the table, and a video call from her son and daughter awaited her. When the cake was placed before her, Sophia clasped her hands and whispered, "Thank you, God, for reminding me I am still loved." As she blew out the candles surrounded by joy, she realized that the birthday she once believed forgotten had become the beginning of a new life. Her story is not just about loneliness, but about hope, about how one small act of kindness can awaken a soul, restore faith, and even mend broken families. Sometimes love comes not from where we expect, but from where we least imagine. And sometimes, a neighbor becomes family, reminding us that we are never truly alone. So, if Sophia's story touched your heart, let it also remind you to reach out to someone today, an old friend, a parent, a neighbor, because your kindness may be the very light they need. And before you leave, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because we share stories that remind you love is alive in this world, and you never know whose life your compassion